Let me start with something that sounds almost offensive to modern agriculture. There is a way of planting food that looks careless, messy, and even lazy. No neat rows, no constant digging, no chemical schedules, no obsession with spacing charts. Just seeds, soil, organic cover, and, well, patience. For decades, professionals dismissed it as backward. Yet, across history, small farmers, wartime gardeners, and self-reliant homesteaders used this method to feed families under extreme conditions. Today, it is quietly producing triple harvests in backyards and survival gardens around the world. This method is often called lazy farming, natural planting, or no-dig dense growing. It was championed in the 20th century by thinkers like Masanobu Fukuoka and Ruth Stout, long before it became fashionable. They were mocked for rejecting ploughs, fertilizers, and tidy aesthetics. What they understood, and what most experts ignored, is how soil actually works when left alive. If you care about history, resilience, and practical self-reliance, this method deserves serious attention. Modern agriculture did not develop around what is best for plants. It developed around what is best for machines. Straight lines, wide spacing, bare soil, and frequent tilling make it easier for tractors and chemical sprayers to operate. Over time, this became proper farming. But bare soil is dead soil. Tilling destroys fungal networks. Sun bakes moisture away. Rain washes nutrients out. Roots struggle in compacted ground. Farmers compensate with fertilizer and pesticides, creating dependency. During wartime and economic collapse, when those inputs disappeared, yields collapsed. Families who survived best were often those who ignored textbook methods and planted densely in living soil. The so-called stupid method is simple. You stop turning the soil. You stop leaving it bare. You plant closer than recommended. You feed the ground instead of the plant. First, you choose a growing area and never dig it again. Instead, you layer organic material on top. Straw, leaves, compost, grass clippings, wood chips, and kitchen scraps form a protective blanket. This becomes mulch. Second, you plant directly through this layer. Seeds or seedlings go into small openings. Over time, worms and microbes incorporate organic matter into the soil naturally. Third, you plant crops closer together than most guides suggest. Plants form a living canopy. Shade keeps moisture in. Roots share fungal networks. Weeds struggle to establish. Fourth, you continuously add organic cover. Every season you replenish mulch. The soil becomes darker, softer and richer without mechanical effort. Within 2 to 3 seasons, yields often double or triple. Agricultural science became tied to industrial systems. Universities partnered with fertilizer companies. Research focused on maximizing output through inputs, not ecology. Methods that required patience and observation were seen as unscientific. Dense planting also looks, well, disorderly. To trained agronomists, it appears inefficient. They assume competition will reduce yields. In reality, living soil changes the equation. Healthy microbial networks allow plants to cooperate rather than compete. There was also economic pressure. A farmer who buys nothing is bad for business. During World War II, victory gardens often relied on dense, mulched beds. Manuals encouraged composting, interplanting, and ground cover because fertilizers were rationed. Gardeners discovered that tightly planted beans shaded lettuce. Corn supported climbing peas. Squash suppressed weeds. In occupied Europe, families hid small forest-like gardens behind hedges and walls. They planted multiple layers of crops in the same space. Root vegetables below, greens in the middle, climbing beans above. 1 square metre could feed a household. This was survival agriculture, not hobby gardening. Start by choosing one small area. 4 by 8 feet is enough. Cover the ground with cardboard to block weeds. Wet it thoroughly. Add 6 to 8 inches of organic material. Leaves, compost, straw and grass clippings work well. Avoid treated wood or glossy paper. Wait 2 weeks. Plant directly into the mulch. For seeds, pull material aside. For seedlings, cut small holes. Plant closer than recommended. For example, lettuce 6 inches apart instead of 12. Beans every 4 inches. Carrots in clusters. Water deeply once or twice a week instead of daily. Mulch will retain moisture. Add new mulch every month. Within 1 season, you will notice fewer weeds, darker soil, and stronger growth. Within 2 seasons, harvests often triple. Healthy soil produces healthy plants. Healthy plants resist insects. Dense planting also confuses pests. Monoculture rows act like billboards advertising food. Mixed, layered gardens disrupt insect navigation. Mulch supports predator insects, frogs and birds. These become unpaid security guards. In wartime gardens, this mattered. Pesticides were scarce. Nature did the work. No-dig dense planting requires almost no outside inputs, no fuel, no fertilizer, no machinery, no chemicals. It works with kitchen waste, yard debris and local materials. It improves every year instead of degrading. In a long-term crisis, this is priceless. You are not dependent on supply chains. Your soil becomes your infrastructure. From ancient forest gardens to medieval kitchen plots to wartime victory gardens, successful food systems always share 3 traits: covered soil, dense planting, continuous organic matter. Industrial agriculture is the historical anomaly. The so-called stupid method is the old way refined. It survived wars, famines and depressions because it works. Begin small. Convert 1 bed. Observe. Adjust. Expand. Keep notes like wartime gardeners did. Track yields. Watch soil changes. Within a year, you will understand why this method was ignored and why it is returning. It does not enrich corporations. It enriches families. If this guide helped you see planting in a new way, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more forgotten methods, historical survival knowledge, and practical self-reliance skills. Share this with anyone who still believes food security comes from stores instead of soil. History already taught us otherwise.